Hello. So on this diagram, I'm going to explain briefly how the cranial nerve number one, which is the olfactory nerve, gets distributed in the nasal cavity. So this diagram is just a longitudinal section of the rostral end of the head. The cranial aspect or the skull has partially been removed where the brain is supposed to sit. So you can see that there is a partition between where the brain is supposed to sit and the nasal cavity. That partition is the ethmoid bone, and this ethmoid bone has some perforations on a structure known as the cribriform plate. So that cribriform plate has some perforations in it. And the cranial nerve number one originates from the olfactory bulb via several nerve fibers. So these nerve fibers are the ones that collectively make up the cranial nerve number one or the olfactory nerve. So these fibers pass through these perforations of the cribriform plate, and then they end up settling or lodging on the caudal end of the nasal cavity. And then some of the fibers will also progress rostrally and end up, innervating the various structures within the nasal cavity. But of particular interest would be these nerve fibers that end up connecting to this structure, which is known as the vomeronasal organ. So this vomeronasal organ connects to another structure, rostral to it, which is known as nasopalatine duct. And through this nasopalatine duct, some odor chemicals are able to pass through, and this vomeronasal organ is able to pick up those odor particles and stimulate these nerves, which then take the impulses to the brain via the olfactory bulb and the olfactory nerve. So when the dog breathes in air, the air contains odor particles or particles of smell, and these odor particles are going to settle onto the nerve endings of these olfactory neurons. So then these will be stimulated, and impulses are going to be sent through these neurons to the olfactory bulb, and eventually from the olfactory bulb, the information is going to be sent to the centers that are responsible for interpreting the sense of smell. So this is how the olfactory nerve or cranial nerve number one is distributed in the nasal cavity of the dog.